Hello, everyone, and today I am reviewing the book The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Book that's been in my library of books to read for over 2 years now. It's been there for a while, and I've just never gotten around to it. So, what is this book really about, and what makes it so special? Well, actually, it's quite a misleading book, to be honest. The title is quite misleading for what's actually in the book, because the book actually doesn't talk much about not caring about stuff and not caring in general. The book actually talks about a lot about caring a lot and doing a lot of stuff that would make you seem like you care quite a bit. Though it does also talk about not caring about stuff and not giving an F about stuff, basically. So, how am I going to break the book down? The review of this book is going to be like a little summary. It's basically what was the main point that this book was trying to get across, and how they were basically trying to get this point across to make it easier, I guess, for you to understand. Anyway, the main point of this book was not caring about stuff, basically. But in a sense, it was not. Yes, this book kind of had a two-pronged point system, or a two-pronged focus. The first focus of the book at the beginning of the book was how not caring had made a lot of people change their life. He talked about an author who for years tried to get into being an author, sent his publishing stuff, sent his papers and books and stuff he'd written to a bunch of different places, and he never got any kind of leeway his entire life. And at the end of his life, basically, is when he got famous. But at that point in his life, he didn't care very much about nothing, and the paper he sent off was kind of showing that he kind of didn't care how it sounded, but he still sent it off. But he didn't care if he had a result. And then one of the publishers, gave him a chance and saw, maybe let's see how it worked out. And during his entire career as an author, he did not care one little bit. He dressed however he wanted. He was drunk on book signings. He tried to feel women up constantly, but yet still he was super successful in the last few years of his life. He wrote many books, and every one of his books got good reviews. They all got sold tons of books. He sold tons of books, and he made a good amount of money being an author at the last couple years of his life than he did most of his life. And it shows and he uses this as an example of how not giving and caring about anything and not really doing much besides what you want has actually benefited certain people, and how it will benefit you. Now, this is really cool, and it does show a lot about how you get things done when you don't care about much. But also, it shows about how you get things done when you care about some things. And that's actually one of the main points I think the book was trying to get across. Well, actually, I think that was the main focus the book was trying to get across. It was about what you care about, and not really what you don't care about, or what you don't care, give an F about, basically. So basically, what it's really saying is you should really be paying more attention to what you do care about than anything else. And you should limit what you care about quite a bit. For instance, he talks about having the old lady that the only thing she cares about, she doesn't have anything to care about in her life, and she cares a lot about the coupons that she has. So it makes her really upset when you don't accept the coupon. Whereas he's just I don't care, it doesn't matter to me or not, it doesn't care. But then you do something to somebody I care about, for instance, you try to rip my mom off, then it's going to be different, because then I'm going after you with everything I got. All this little stuff that I would normally care about, all that care and all that focus from my mental energy is going directly towards that one problem. And now, instead of going at it and being I'm going to go at this for a day and maybe it'll work out, maybe I'll find a lawyer. No, I'm going at this for a whole 6 months non-stop every single day until everything gets the way I want it to be. I think that was the main point of this book. It was not so much about not caring about stuff, but not caring about things that you shouldn't care about. Why care about little things? Why care about every little thing that comes up every time somebody cuts you off in traffic, every time you miss a TV show, every time your alarm doesn't go off on time? You shouldn't really care about all that stuff. Caring about all that stuff really just winds you up and puts your focus in things that or frivolous in things that doesn't actually matter. Things that at the end of the day won't change your life very much or at all. Somebody cutting you off in traffic, unless you hit that person, that doesn't change your life one little bit. You probably get where you're going maybe 2 seconds later than you were if you hadn't been cut off. And this I thought was very important because throughout the book he's telling you about how all these little things that you could care about, but what sense would it make to care about those things when you could care about something else, and how to focus your care and your thought and the things you actually give an F about into things that are more important to you and your life itself. Care more about your family than what happens on the TV show. Care more about the things that are going on in your actual life than the things that are going on everywhere else. You shouldn't turn on the radio and the news and care about all these people, all these things that happen to all these people in 2 countries away. You're spending your time caring about that, but yet still your bills aren't being paid on time. Maybe your priorities are very wrong. You shouldn't be caring about that stuff. You shouldn't give one iota of care towards what's going on in a different country because your life isn't in the place where that should matter. The first thing you should be concerned about is basically paying all your bills, making sure you have everything you need before you worry about what somebody else that has no impact on your life needs. Not only that, but you're caring about somebody else in a different country while maybe your brother's in the hospital. Why don't you go to the hospital and care about that and figure out what's going on before you go and think, oh, all these people in a different country, they need medical help, but your brother's right next to you in the hospital. Probably not next to you, but in this relatively close, or doesn't matter if they're relatively close, they're an actual relative that's in the hospital and your care is someplace else instead of where it should be. And then you can take some time and actually think about all the things that are going on in your life versus what you care about, and just reinitiate what you want to actually spend more of your time caring about and the things you don't want to care about. And not only that, was one of the things that I noticed was from the book and as you do it, if you do it in real life, because it's something I actually do quite a bit, not caring about a lot of stuff does actually reduce your stress, and it does make you feel better about things that are going on. Because you spend your time not caring about all this stuff that's going on because it's usually bad. You're not bringing yourself down, especially when you're only caring about the things that are important to you. And then a lot of times you are able to actually affect the things that are important to you a lot more than if you were caring about every little frivolous thing that went on in the world. You only care about one thing or a small group of things. You actually have more time and more energy to focus on that and how you can actually make those things better than if your mind was split 100 different places. And another funny thing I noticed about this is the more care and time you put into caring about something, the less you care about other things. And no matter how much you think you will care about a whole bunch of things at once, the more you care about one thing, the more you care about certain things in general, the less you care about other things. Because it seems that you can only care about so many things at once. So if you put more of your energy and more of your time into caring about just your close family, or just things that you find to be important, you will automatically notice that you start caring quite a lot less about frivolous things that goes on around you and things that may happen once in a while that you would normally care about because you're not focused and you don't have a single thing you care about. You start caring about a bunch of stuff that really doesn't matter. And that's one of the big things I noticed about this book, and the biggest takeaway I got from this book. It wasn't so much about the art of not caring about something, but it was more about the art of caring deeply about something. Caring deeply about your family, caring deeply about your friends, caring deeply about what's going on in your life, to the point where other things that you used to care about, things that normal people would say you should care about, this really doesn't matter. To the point where you don't care which way they go. There's no F's given whatsoever towards things that do not come into the flare of the things you care about. You won't care about something that went on in a different state that has nothing to do with your family if the biggest thing you care about in your life is your family, and that's the most important thing to you, and you put everything you have into your family and their well-being. You won't care what happens in another state. You will not give an F about what's going on in other states. If it does not affect your family, you will not care whatsoever. And the thing is, you won't even feel bad about it. And people call you a douchebag for a lot of these things, but at the same time, are you a douchebag? Because it seems as though if you care about every little thing, you're not really caring about anything in general. You're just going with the wind. You're just flying around. You're just not really caring. And you seem like more of a douchebag because, I want to help everybody in the world, but you're not really doing everything because you can't help everyone in the world unless you're like the richest person in the world. Giving $1 and $1 to help every little organization doesn't really matter if you are not helping anyone at all, because it's not going anywhere to help them because you're not doing enough to do any kind of help. But if you go and then you put all your effort and all your energy into one thing, then you're actually caring a lot more about that one thing and you're doing a lot more to help than if you were to care about every single thing and you're supposed to be all, I don't even know what it's called anymore, but it's where you care about every little thing and everything. You want everything to be good. That can be good, but at the same time, what's the point if the things around you that you should care about, such as your family and your close friends, you're not doing anything to help them? So yeah, I think this book was a pretty good read, or listen to, whichever you want to do. It doesn't go too deep into like strategies and things like that and ways you should change your life, but it goes deep into examples, and it goes into like things that happen in his personal life and then things that happen in other people's lives, of showing that when you care deeply about certain things and you give up the caring about everything around you, how you are not only getting your life to be better, but you can make the people around you, their life can be better also. And though at times it may seem as though what you're doing isn't being very nice, but what does that matter if you're actually helping yourself and the ones around you to have a better life? Why does it matter if you're perceived as not caring? And why does it even matter if you're not caring? Because at the end of the day, caring doesn't really save anything, and caring doesn't do anything but say you care, and it's only something that makes you feel better. It doesn't actually do anything for the rest of the world. No matter how much you care, no matter how virtuous you may think, it doesn't do anything for the rest of the world, like all these people caring about how global warming affects the world, but at the end of the day, you're not doing anything, you just care. And that was made obvious to me when I've written proposals to solve problems, and they may say, we're virtuous, we care, but at the end of the day, you don't actually want to do any of them, which means you actually don't care. You just want to assume you care. And you care about every little thing. You care about 100 things, but you don't care enough about one thing to do anything. And that's the point of, probably the point of this book, which you can't care about everything to the point where you do nothing. You have to not care about quite a lot of stuff in order for you to do anything about one thing. It doesn't matter if it's global warming. It doesn't even matter if you care about rescuing dolphins. If that's what you care about, go for it. Care about it. Stop caring about everything else. And go for what you care about in order for you to actually achieve something and do something about it. Like myself, I like writing. I care about writing quite a bit. I've written quite a bit. I also care about mental health. And that's one thing I want to actually focus a little bit more on going forward, is about mental health, because you'll find out in different videos. But anyway, if you liked the video, thumbs up, like, share this video. Remember, care about something deeply and stop giving an F about every little thing that goes on, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you do or not. What does matter is when you care about something and when you do something about it. Have a good day.